Friends, I would like to say a few words in regard to the weaknesses of parliamentary system of government or democracy. Parliamentary system presupposes certain things. One of them is that the electorate exercises its right of franchise without any fear or favor, without any restriction and without the influence of anybody. But in a country like ours where the electorate is illiterate by and large, where the electorate is divided amongst various sections, religious, communal, caste, and economic classes, etc. It is very difficult to say that the electorate exercises its franchise absolutely on the basis of its own free will. We have seen that on certain occasions a lot of influence is brought on the electorate, or that at least on sections of the electorate, either on account of emotional appeal or on account of the money or on account of certain other factors. If the electorate is not allowed to exercise franchise without any favor or influence, it is quite possible that the legislature that is formed does not reflect the true will of the electorate as such. If there is no minimum conduct on the part of the elected representatives of the people in the legislatures, it will only lead to political instability. The Prime Minister or the head of the government is made responsible to the legislature and also within his own party framework to the party. It is possible, as it has happened in several states, that the head of the government will be preoccupied in the maintenance of his own position rather than in service of the people at large. For instance, if there is a possibility of a defection in my party, if I am the leader, I will be day and night concerned with how to win over somebody else to make up the defections in my party, or how to extract some more members from the other party, and the administration or the governance becomes secondary in my work. Therefore, it is all right where the people are literate and educated, they have certain minimum degrees of responsibility, and there is a minimum degree of decent conduct and honesty amongst the members of the legislature. This is the weakness in the parliamentary system. Recently, there has been a good deal of discussion on whether the parliamentary system of government is suited to our country or not. Many people have started thinking that it would be better to have a presidential system of government. You know, the main difference between the two systems, both are democratic, unlike in several other countries where they also call their own system as democratic system. But there is no voting. Even if there is voting, it is only for namesake. There is no real freedom of expression or franchise. But both presidential system as well as parliamentary system are democratic in character. But there is one very important distinction between these two systems, and it is this: whereas the head of the government in parliamentary system is responsible to the legislature, in a presidential system the head of the government, who is also the head of the state, is not responsible to the parliament or the legislature. This will give him a certain amount of security of his tenure. Once he is elected, he knows that he is going to be there for a certain period unless he commits certain treason, in which case parliament can impeach the president. But very rarely it has ever happened, as it is he has a tenure of certain period of undisturbed authority. There is no fear that somebody would defect from one party to some other party and his position would become rather weak. This will leave him the necessary sense of security and also the necessary amount of confidence so that he can go ahead with the schemes that he wants to implement. After the end of that period, whether it is 4 years or 5 years, he is again answerable and accountable to the people as a whole. If he has failed to deliver the goods, the people can throw him out. This is the main difference between the presidential system and the parliamentary system of democracy. In a parliamentary democracy, the head of the state or the prime minister cannot be quite confident whether he would continue as the head of the state the next day. Even our own prime minister is not confident whether she will continue as prime minister tomorrow after the last general elections. In our own party, the margin that we have in Lok Sabha is hardly 45. If half of the members walk over to the other side, the prime minister will not be the prime minister tomorrow. Actually, the whole trouble has started ever since she became the Prime Minister.